My talk is like taking career to the next level. I was thinking about this talk as like things I would have liked someone told me when I was at like different parts of my career. So I hopefully have something interesting for all of you to take. So a bit introduction about me. Like I'm again Sahana. I did my master's in electrical engineering from University of Southern California. Um, I currently uh, I currently live in the UK. I've lived across like 3 countries so far: UK, US, and India. And I believe that I have like up their values with me. Um, I'm also senior machine learning engineer at Jaguar Land Rover, but I've also been like data scientist at like smaller startups, California-based startups like Appeal Sciences, who are Series D, and Impact Vision, who are like Series seed level startups. So basically, the talk I have today was like kind of thinking about a career from holistic point of view. It's up to us to basically make a career not just about our jobs. Um, a job is a very important part of a career. It's a day-to-day work. That's where we pick up a lot of important skills, which we then use, which we then like keep on improving as we move up the ladder. But there are like multiple other things we can do in our side where we can enhance our technical and soft skills. For example, side projects are those projects where you can make use of your time to build that medium blog which you liked a lot, or this tool you read about in LinkedIn. Side projects from my point of view teaches a lot about accountability, because nobody is there looking out. You need to basically take accountability and like work on it. The other thing are online courses. Coursera, name it. Google has released their own series of online courses on Gen AI. Amazon has done the same. These are all the courses which you can take to enhance your knowledge in a particular field. um, Basically, uh, like these online courses teach you a lot about a discipline. You need a lot of discipline to like see a course through. um, Finally, there's like the bit of community. The other thing I want to talk about is hackathons. Hackathons are a way where you can like learn a new skill in a very short amount of time, and also you learn a lot about teamwork because you will be working with other people. And you will also learn a lot about how to work with non-tech stakeholders, because some hackathon you'll be working with people of different skill set. This is a personal favorite where I have learned a lot. Basically, it's community volunteering. A community volunteering help puts you in a place where you can like give back to that community that has been supporting you. I am a volunteer with Women Who Code, and through this, I get to like meet a lot of different people, attend small workshops that helps me to improve a field which I'm technically interested in. And also, some of these communities organize soft skills based workshops too. That is also a very important skill to pick up. A final thing, which is also a low-hanging fruit, is meetups. This is not a surprise that you find it here. Meetups are the one of the easiest ways out there to like meet somebody and learn about what's happening in a particular company, because a lot of people are like very keen to share if you are interested in it. One of the other reasons I found in my career to focus on these other side things, not just my day-to-day job, is as you grow up in your career, it's very hard to not tie your identity to your job. Being in these position where you like put some amount of time in these side things keeps you engaged in the field of interest technically, and also puts you in a place where you can make connections and like grow in your career, and basically choose your career because you love it. It has helped me in my past to be more passionate in my career when I'm like involved in side things, not just my job related. So I'm a machine learning engineer. So basically, the next two slides are typically slightly dedicated towards a professional who is trying to seek some insights about like navigating their career path in machine learning. For example, in the umbrella of machine learning has like so many roles in it, and it keeps on growing. But however, I felt there are like three different roles which you can bring about and which are distinct from each other and are worth talking about. It's worth noting that different companies use these roles interchangeably. So you might need to look deeply into the role description, what you're applying for, and also profiles of the people who are working in that company. But anyway, to keeping that aside, and also the other thing is that the responsibilities are not exactly, the lines are not drawn in like drawn in stone. It can basically can delineate, there can be a gray line, but still, like I mentioned, they are distinct enough. The first one I want to mention is like an analyst role. Analysts actually focus on like building dashboards for their executive team, and they normally need like deep understanding of their businesses. A strong analyst would have like good visualization skills, domain knowledge, and need to have a really good communication because they'll be talking to the executive teams and help them in taking their day-to-day decisions. um, Data decision scientist role. Decision scientists normally work with like statistical tools to provide recommendations or insights to help again different executive teams or the other teams to take decisions based on the data patterns and trends. The last one, which is something close to my heart, is a machine learning engineer. A machine learning engineer is somebody that who combines the software engineering skills with machine learning, creating algorithms and model. A good machine learning engineer needs to have software skills, needs to be metric oriented, because you'll be developing systems that run in real time. You need to understand what are the metrics that are important to your stakeholders, like is it latency, is it cost? Cost is an important in like most of the businesses. And finally, you'll be automating things, so you need to know the bigger picture. Who would be using it? How would they be using it? um, I will basically, in the next slide, I want to focus on like what are the junior, senior, and like lead expectations for these different kind of roles. Um, and one thing I want to mention before I get started is that all of us have like unique skill set, and all of us skill set are definitely valuable. But what I want you to take away from this is not to be intimidated, because it was even intimidating for me when I was like trying to list down these skill sets, because in my head I was constructing whether I have that or not. But rather, you have to read through these skill set with a bit of empathy for yourself, see what when some skill is of interest to you, maybe you can keep it in your side burner to pick it up later. But just have fun when I'm like trying to describe about these junior, senior, and lead delineation for these different roles. The first one I want to start with is an analyst. A junior analyst is expected to do a lot of data collection, basic analysis, and report generation. As they get more senior, they do more complex analysis, and they start managing small components of larger projects or handle a smaller project on their own. And when they get to see lead level, their insights would help in like taking strategic decisions for the company, and they would be demonstrating leadership qualities like mentoring other junior analysts or helping non-tech stakeholders understanding the very complex analysis. Decision scientists, so junior decision scientists also starts with like data collection, basic analysis, and they start building some basic statistical models. As they get more senior in their roles, the models get like more complicated, and their models output will start feeding into the strategic decisions. A lead data decision scientist would be building sophisticated models and would participate in like high level strategic meetings. The reason I've like highlighted these in like yellow is to show that how similar things could be junior and senior and in lead level. What you need to take away from this is basically as you get higher up in these analyst and decision science roles, you would start feeding your inputs into the strategic planning, basically driving the business needs of the company. Machine learning engineer, junior machine learning engineer normally starts working on small projects. They, given that it's a discipline that's between software engineering and machine learning, you need to continuously build upon your programming skills and your understanding of ML concepts. A senior one would start seeing the life cycle of machine learning products from design to development, would start mentoring other junior machine learning engineers. A lead would be building, like, for example, a system architecture, generic system architecture that supports various machine learning models, not just the one they have basically built. And they would be in a place to choose like what technology approaches would be appropriate. So moving on, like the one other thing I want to mention that is like throughout the career, it's important to cultivate good relationship with your stakeholders. So who are your stakeholders? Stakeholders could be the leadership team. For example, we have seen that in analysts and their decision scientists would be feeding their inputs to the executive teams. So executive teams don't have a lot of time for you. So you need to basically find out ways to discuss like complicated things with them that resonates with their objectives, and you need to be to the point. Your managers, you need to have a good relationship with your manager overall, no matter which role you fall into. It's important to collaborate with your manager in your one-on-one, share your personal goals, your professional goals, and take their help to see whether it's in alignment with the department level goals. Business stakeholders, this is also very important. A decision scientists, analysts, or machine learning engineers, we don't work alone. We work in collaboration, and we tailor to the needs of the company. We need to understand what are the pain points of the business itself, understand which business challenge we can contribute to and drive growth in. So this is basically talking to all of the other team that sits laterally with us, identifying those areas we can contribute to. And finally, engineering teams. Engineering teams here refers to like software engineers or data engineers. They are extremely important, and it's really important to have a synergy between machine learning and these engineering teams so that we can have collaborative workflows and we can execute projects successfully. And on the same topic, it's important. I found it in my career that incorporating agile or DevOps methodologies or like version control helps a lot in a data science project. I found in my experience that when you start like doing things like code review, document review, the time taken to actually deploy a model.
It seems like we have some internet trouble, so let's see how that evolves. I hope that our speaker will be just right back. Yeah, in the meantime, question to you: how did you enjoy the session? Did you learn something new? I'm opening the mic right now.
Yeah, hi, Camila, Claude here. I would just like to add, like, I like her approach of looking at it holistically, not only in terms of tech. Like, especially if you're starting out where you don't have a lot of experience, you have to do some side projects, volunteering, community building. Like, there's so many opportunities out there to develop that experience, even if you don't work full time. So, just wanted to highlight those points which I thought were interesting.
Thank you so much for sharing. Do you have your experience of like situation maybe when that kind of contribution helps
Yeah, sure. I'm coming in from Dubai, where I worked for about 10 years as an analyst. I would say in Dubai, there's tons of organizations and companies. Maybe we don't have a lot of that startup energy compared to the States, San Francisco, or here right now I'm in Calgary in Canada. There's so much happening here as well. I would say if I had to restart again, like as a younger data analyst and analyst, start doing community work, volunteering. Don't get stuck into one role and work there for 5 years. Sometimes there's more opportunities for learning, more opportunities to build communities, and you never know if the next job would just be like a short highway, like, hey, I need someone to work in this role for XYZ project, and then you get basically your next job through referrals. And a lot of that actually happens here in Calgary, where I am now. About 80 to 90% of the job market here is hidden market. That means it's through referral. Can agents hire people they trust and they know they have worked with. So that's a challenge for newcomers, which is it's a gap, but getting that community experience, getting to work on side projects is just, yeah, I would totally 100% agree on that.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I also have very similar experience, like with joining communities and also building communities in different countries, in different cities. It's something which brings in my career brings a lot of enjoyment, but also a lot of knowledge, a lot of this sometimes this knowledge which you will not learn from books, you will not learn from courses. It's just experience, and it's extremely helpful. And also it's let's say pleasant because you meet people, you can learn from people. It's always more joyful when something is more joyful than basically in my case. Also there is a greater chance that I will just keep doing that and be better in that because there is all this energy there. So I totally can share this experience as well. Yeah, I see that our speaker, that Sahana, was trying to join, and she seems to drop. Yeah, sometimes we focus, we just have this internet issues, unfortunately. So sorry for that. But that's a great time for you to also share your stories. Like so the question for now is like what kind of stories, what kind of experience can you share about learning, not only from job but maybe from community, or maybe from some meetup, or maybe you have some other your secret sauce to learning. So that's the open question. Also, there is a question from Aaron about difference in. Okay, great. We have Sahana. The mic is yours.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. Like my laptop stopped working. Can I continue?
Yes, no worries. Great having you back, and please continue.
Thank you for being so understanding, everyone. Awesome. Yeah. So I'll just start with the second point. Like it's important, I found in my career, to adopt these agile or DevOps methodologies, because they help to basically bring deployment faster. That's something a lot of companies have struggled with and have found answer in adopting these techniques. The last one is to have empathy and effective communications. I found when I'm working with like non-tech stakeholders to employ empathy and be clear and concise about what are basically the handoff points, or what are they looking for. This I found it takes a lot of practice, and it's very important to understand that their domain experts need not be data science experts, and we need domain knowledge to build better models. So yeah, it's important to keep the communication clear and employ a lot of empathy in it. Moving on to the next slide, this is also something I found extremely useful in my career, is basically seeking mentors and sponsors. Mentors are those people who can give you advice on like guidance on career decisions, what kind of skills you should be picking up, how to have a work-life balance. They are needed for both developing technical and non-technical skills. Mentors are normally found in your companies, and like you can seek your senior people to be mentors, or some non-tech related people to be mentors as well. In my career, when I was like looking through job opportunities or like trying to enhance my skill set, I went for like paid mentorship. As a person who has worked in startups, this paid mentorship helped me to really understand what these big tech data science teams and machine learning teams are seeking, and help me to develop my technical skills in more goal oriented way. Sponsors are those people normally are people who are in a position of power, who can advocate things for you within your company, like a promotion or a raise. Sponsors can also be people who are found outside your company, and they could help you with like getting some conference tickets, etc. Sponsors are like somebody who not just advise you but also advocate for you. And it's more, if not equally but more important, to find sponsors for you, because they are the ones who will be opening up doors for you which otherwise could be unclosed, which otherwise would be closed. One way to cultivate or find the sponsors is like putting yourself out there in these meetups or volunteer settings, approaching people. You don't need to be you don't need to be very straightforward with them, but genuinely try to understand who they are. You would be very surprised to see how many people will volunteer themselves, because everybody, most of the times in my experience, I've found in tech, people are genuinely trying to help each other out. And finally, I'm gonna probably end this by sharing a couple of resources that are close to my heart. Like the first one, How to Have a Career in Data Science by Jacqueline Norris and Emily Robinson. It was as somebody who has worked from like startups and MNCs, I found a lot of things that are discussed in this book extremely instructional to whosoever, whatever place they are in their career. It's very rare to find that book that goes into detail, like what kind of skill set that a startup expects versus what kind of skill set which a established team would expect. I honestly, when I read this book, I felt like I should have brought this book years ago when I was like fresh out of school. I mentioned that I used paid mentorship when I was seeking through job opportunities. There's Danley, Insta Mentors. These are places where you can like pay and seek mentorship in like those skill set which you want to be more proficient in. It could be data science skills or machine learning skills. And finally, something that's of a low-hanging fruit is like YouTube tutorials or podcasts. Tina Hung is like somebody who I follow. She discusses like a lot of things, technical and non-technical things that help me a lot. And also Chai Time is Data Science. This is a very casual setting where data scientists and like other people come in and discuss about their workflow. It just informs you like, oh, what are the other roles out there, what are the other companies out there, what are they doing, how are they doing it, and in a very casual way, which I like it. These are the things I use, but I think there are like tons of resources out there in LinkedIn. Well, that's pretty much what I have. I'm sorry for the disruption in the middle, but I'm happy to take any questions.
There is definitely this question from the chat. from Aaron. And the question is, what would be the difference between working for a startup and a company in the data science field?
That's a great question. I feel like I can speak from my own experience. In a startup, the roles are not like delineated. In my experience, you have to be prepared to wear different hats as your business needs it. Because when I was working in a very seed level startup, sometimes I had to be the software engineer because there was no software engineering team. Sometimes you need to be that business person who talks to your non-tech customers and help them like understand the problem they're trying to solve in details. And in addition to that, you need to be a data scientist. I also feel like in startup, basically we are trying to deliver products quickly, but don't have a lot of in a very small startup, you try to deliver products quickly. You don't have like a very solid practices in place. As you get employed in a bigger company, there are definitely more solid practices in place that helps you with your onboarding, your career progress, etc. But the catch is you don't get to see the impact of your work as easy you would see in a seed level startup. So it's something to look for.
Wonderful. There is also the question about your slides. Are you comfortable with sharing your slides? Maybe for this Slack channel, that will be the easiest way.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Do we have any other question? We still have some time. Yeah.
If not, I'll put my LinkedIn also. Feel free to like reach out in the Slack channel or LinkedIn with any questions.
Yeah, your presentation was great. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for sharing your experience. It's very very useful, very thoughtful as well. There is a question: do grant programs greatly impact your career growth? That's the next question.
That's a great question to ask. I would say like 3 or 4 years ago, master degrees were like must for, or were seen as must for people in data science, because that's where you are going in. That's what I did. Like I went to a grad school and that helped me to understand techniques and programming skills and helped me to get a job. But that trend is changing right now. There are like so many boot camps out there, and I've personally heard success story of those people who were basically teachers and they did a boot camp and now they are like back in software engineers. They're like different boot camps for different purposes. But I think those are also something that you could look into. So to answer your question, grad program helped me, but it's not fair to say that it's needed for everybody who tries to break into this field.
It's amazing, like how fast things are changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I also had some experience, like not myself, but like have other experience from people who didn't graduate in programming, but definitely they get a very good paid job and a great career in programming after some bootcamps. Actually, bootcamps are really cool in the way that if bootcamp has some internship program after. That's also your foot in the door, and sometimes it's the hardest part. So if you can afford with your time to just be part of the bootcamp, so either like half a year, 1 year, then they can help you with some internship, which will give you a good start.
Yeah. I also think that maybe this is also a good point to think about, is that right now, frankly the immigration policies of different countries have not caught up with it yet. Like boot camp gives you the knowledge, but it doesn't give you in more, like for example, in the States, work rights as much as a grad program would give you, like the STEM OPT, etc. There's also something to think, and like as people are working out the policy, some things to take into consideration when you're like planning your career long term, which would strengthen your position in that country.
That's an excellent point. Like, if you are planning to live in different country than your original country or country of born, that's something which you need to consider, and it's not something which you will hear many conversation about, and it's very, very true. Yeah, no, please plan to that. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for this amazing talk. I hope that you will be also available on Slack for some other questions.
Of course, I'll share the slides shortly there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. For the impact program, that's the last session for today. We have this strong ending of the day. Please join us tomorrow, and please share your LinkedIn on the Slack. Please be connected and stay connected. And see you on the next session. See you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, evening, and see you around.